Morning, people. I'm finna play this video for y'all that helped change my perspective and help awaken me years ago. So I hope you follow it. It's 9 minutes and about 58 seconds. Take time out to do it. That's all I ask. Peace.
So something else is going on. Now, when the sun rises in the east early in the morning, and if you're in a tall building, you go to the west side of the building, you open a window in the west, and what happens? The sunlight floods into the room and illuminates the whole room, even though the sun is on the horizon in the east. How can the light from the sun reverse back and penetrate the room and illuminate the whole room? That's because the light that's coming into that window is not from the sun. It's as simple as that. So now what I'm telling you and what we're discussing goes against the grain. I know it does, but we're going to prove it. So before you have a knee-jerk reaction and start throwing things around, chill out, be calm, and pay attention. So to help us understand this, we're going to look at buildings on the horizon. So you'll see, for example, if the sun's in front of you. Now the sun travels across. If there's only one light source, the back end of the building cannot be illuminated because the light can't bend around those buildings and illuminate the back of those buildings. It's simply impossible. So something else is happening. You see, this happens at night time because you have one light source at night. It's the moon. The same would happen during the day, just that the light would be stronger in the day. This light that's supposed to be in outer space cannot turn the sky blue. It's physically impossible. So this is not what we see. Your life on earth, if the sun was giving us, it was the only light source in the day, our lives would be miserable. In fact, we wouldn't survive. This is not what we see. Yet in the day, the light's in front of you, the back end of the building is illuminated. Tells you that there must be two light sources in the day. You're going to say, well, that's insane. Well, go outside, use your eyes and look. What we've been taught about the world we live in is an illusion. It's fantasy. So a photographer would do the same. You see, a photographer has a person standing there. He cannot use one light source. He would use a soft light, he would use a reflector, and then he would use a hard light. And it's these aspects of these lights together he can illuminate the person or the object properly. So there's a lion, right? He would take a soft box. This would create the light of day, the ambient light. He would use a reflector on the opposite side. And then he would take a hard light, which is like the sun, and he would move that hard light around until he's happy with the lighting. And it's only in this way that he can illuminate a 3D object in 3D space. And this is the way the world works. A photographer cannot illuminate a 3D object with one light. It's physically impossible. Now, if there was only the sunlight, your world would be a nightmare. It would be ugly. So we have the light of day, a reflector, a dome, like a molten mirror covering the earth, and we have the sun. And it's the sun that gives us the hard shadows and the hard light. And it's the combination of these three things, the two lights and the reflector, that we see the way we do. If there was no reflector, right, and there was no dome, right, so the light's not working from them, and we only have the sun, well, this is what the whole day would look like. The only time you'd see objects lit is when the sun was behind you. Your world would be like a horror movie. And that's a fact. Go try it out. We know this. The crazy thing is that we know this and we understand this, but when we go outside in the real world, we've been so brainwashed that we don't think. We don't appreciate or respect the creation. So some people have taken images like this And I've said, well, what is that second sun doing there? This is not a lens reflection, because it's behind the clouds. And people look at this and say, what's going on here? What on earth am I seeing? Well, you're seeing the sun reflect off the dome. And as Job said, that dome is like a molten mirror, beat out. You see, here's another image. People look at this and say, well, what's going on? What am I seeing? And people talk about another planet, Nibiru. You're just seeing the reflection of the sun on the dome. And this is not a lens flare, because you see the reflection in the reflection of the water. And people take video footage of things like this, and they're astounded. Now, especially in colder areas when there's no moisture in the air, we see this all the time. Now, I've worked in the Mascarene Islands, and during the cyclones, the moisture in the air evaporates. And you see images like this during those periods of the year. And most people look at it and ponder it, but the reality of what it actually is and what they are seeing escapes them. Like the people taking this video, no idea. They just say, wow, it's amazing. Here's people in the Amazon. So obviously after it rained, or it's extremely dry in the heat of the day, and they see this and wonder, look at this. While you're seeing the sun reflect off the dome. It's as simple as that. If the earth was a ball spinning around in space, well, explain how that's happening. If we just spend some time pondering on the creation, you'll see a different world to the one you were taught to believe in. It's as simple as that. This is the real world. This is reality. And these things give evidence that there is a creator, a powerful creator, who has all these things under his power and control. So as the sun sets, watch the light reflect off the dome, and it moves with the sun. And there are two of those lights. So if I tell you, well, the earth has a dome and it has two light sources, and these sources are orbiting around the earth, you'd say I'm crazy. But the evidence is there. The reality is, this is what you see with your eyes, and then NASA comes with a silly ball cartoon. And this is the reality. You see, the real influence for these artists was the creator. Because the greatest artist and painter of light is the creator. And he's the greatest artist. He paints in real light, the real thing. We can only imitate what the creator does. The creator is a wonderful, marvelous artist. And his creation sings, not just in light, but in sound. It's astounding. It's been an absolute privilege to live and see the work of this creator. I was born, I didn't deserve to see this and understand it. What an absolute privilege. And so, the common sense tells you, if I see this painting, who painted that? You want to learn about this because you're astounded, saying that's beautiful. When I see this, I ask myself, well, who's painted this? How is it that I can see this and is painting this in my mind with light? And it moves, and it's awesome to look at. We see a gentleness, a loving kindness that is astounding. But unfortunately, we live in a wicked system ruled by despots, psychopaths, who don't want you to see and listen and think. They don't want you to be free. They want you to believe that this stuff just evolved. I mean, look at this. Come on. This evolved? Really? And it's flat. Say what you want to. Your eyes and your mind tells you it's flat. So we need to take time to look and appreciate and meditate and think on these things. And we'll see. No doubt about it. There's a creator. And the quality of this creator possesses is truly astounding.